Most older men don't realize that women ask 5 very specific questions when they're flirting with you. Just last week, a 67-year-old widower told me something heartbreaking. I think I'm invisible to women now. But here's the truth, he's not invisible at all. In fact, 3 different women had flirted with him that month. And he missed every single signal. If you're over 60 and wondering why women seem uninterested, I have news for you. They're probably far more interested than you realize. Women our age have perfected the art of subtle flirting. And they do it through 5 strategic questions that most men completely misunderstand. These aren't just polite conversations. They're carefully chosen tests to see if you're relationship material. While you're thinking she's simply being nice, she's actually sizing you up as a potential romantic partner. Today, I'm going to reveal these 5 questions, explain what they really mean, and show you exactly how to respond like the confident, attractive man you are. The 5th question will completely change how you think about dating after 60. Here's a truth that nobody talks about. Romance doesn't end at 60. In fact, studies show that 67% of people over 60 are actively seeking companionship, and women our age. They're often far more direct about their interest than you might expect. The problem isn't that women aren't interested. The problem is that many men have simply forgotten how to read the signs. After years of marriage, or being out of the dating game, those subtle cues often go unnoticed. But here's the thing. Women over 60 don't play games the way younger women do. They've refined their approach. Instead of wasting time, they use strategic questions to gauge your potential without putting themselves at risk of rejection. I'm about to break down these 5 questions that signal genuine romantic interest. I'll explain the psychology behind each one, teach you how to respond in a way that sparks attraction, and even reveal the body language cues that confirm she's flirting. Before we dive in, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered if a woman was flirting with you, but you just weren't sure? Have you heard any of these questions recently? You might be surprised by what they really mean. The 5th question is the most powerful, and it's also the one that most men completely misinterpret. 1. Are you enjoying retirement? At first, this might sound like polite small talk, but in reality, it's a strategic way of learning about your lifestyle, availability, and future potential all wrapped up in one simple question. Here's what's really going on behind the scenes. From a psychological standpoint, this question serves 3 key purposes. First, she's subtly gauging your financial stability. A man who says he's enjoying retirement signals that he's planned well and is likely comfortable. Second, she's assessing your availability and how you spend your time. If you're engaged in interesting activities, that makes you more attractive. If you're bored and lonely, it's far less appealing. Third, she's testing your attitude toward this stage of life. Are you embracing it with energy and purpose, or are you just coasting? Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. Last month, I saw this play out at a community center. A stylish woman named Sophia asked Carl, a 68-year-old widower, "So, are you enjoying retirement?" Carl shrugged and said, "Oh, it's okay, I guess. Lots of time on my hands. Not much to do, really." The conversation died right there. Sophia politely excused herself and walked away. Now compare that to David's response to the same question from Linda at a coffee shop. David smiled and said, "You know, I thought I'd be bored, but I'm busier than ever. I'm learning photography, volunteering at the animal shelter, and just started a woodworking project that's driving me crazy in the best way. How about you? Are you still working or enjoying retirement yourself?" See the difference? He radiated passion and purpose, and then he turned the question back to her. Pay attention to her body language when she asks this. If she leans in, holds eye contact, and seems genuinely engaged, especially if she follows up with more questions, there's a good chance she's flirting. Here's how you can respond in a way that creates attraction. The passion approach. Share something you're genuinely excited about, but don't ramble. The mystery approach. Offer a hint of an activity or hobby that leaves her curious to know more. The engagement approach. Give a brief, upbeat answer, then ask about her experiences. The key is to show that retirement isn't the end of the road, it's a time to finally do what matters most. That kind of energy is incredibly attractive. She wants to see if you still have a zest for life and space in it for someone special. Have you been asked this question before? Looking back, do you think you might have missed the signal? 2. Do you cook for yourself? Now, things get interesting. When a woman asks this, she's not trying to find out if you could be the next Gordon Ramsay. She's actually checking your independence, your ability to take care of yourself, and whether you might share those warm, domestic moments that define a relationship. This question is clever because it seems so harmless, yet it tells her everything she needs to know. At our age, most women aren't looking for someone to take care of. They want a partner, not a project. But there's an even deeper layer. Here, cooking is intimate. When she asks, she's likely picturing what it might feel like to share a meal or prepare something together. Let me give you 2 real-life examples. I once overheard Nancy ask Larry, "Do you cook for yourself?" Larry shrugged and said, "Not really. I mostly eat out or heat frozen dinners. My wife used to do all the cooking." Nancy immediately changed the subject. Larry had just told her, in so many words, that he was helpless in the kitchen and still stuck in the past. Now compare that to Samuel's response when Patricia asked him the same question at a farmer's market. Samuel grinned and said, "Oh, I've become quite the weekend chef. Last Sunday, I made an incredible seafood risotto. Took me 3 tries to get it right, but I finally nailed it. I love experimenting with new recipes, though I have to admit, my smoke alarm is my timer half the time. What about you? Do you enjoy trying new things in the kitchen?" Samuel's answer showed competence, humor, and a willingness to connect exactly what women find attractive. The body language that confirms flirting here includes a playful smile, leaning slightly toward you, or following up with comments like, "Maybe you'll have to cook for me sometime," or "I'd love to try that recipe." Here's how to respond well. The competent approach, show you can take care of yourself, but don't brag. The learning approach, admit you're improving and enjoying it. The sharing approach, mention that you like cooking for others or would love to cook with someone special. What she's really asking is, could I build a comfortable, enjoyable life with this man? Your answer tells her if you're independent, thoughtful, and open to connection. 3. Are you close to your family? This is where the conversation goes deeper. When a woman asks this, she's not just being polite, she's testing your emotional availability and your ability to build meaningful relationships. It's one of the most revealing questions she can ask, because your answer speaks volumes about your character and how you'll treat her. The psychology here is subtle, but powerful. Women at our age understand that family relationships are the blueprint for all other relationships. How you treat your family, how you handle conflicts, and how you balance independence with connection tells her everything about how you might treat her. She's also assessing whether you have healthy boundaries, unresolved baggage, and the emotional maturity needed for a serious relationship. But here's what most men miss. She's also gauging your availability. Are you so tied up with family that there's no room for a romantic partner? Are you bitter about family issues, or have you found that healthy balance between loving your family and being open to new love? Here's a perfect example of how this plays out at a senior center dance. Helen asked Raymond about his family. Raymond's response was a disaster. "Oh, my kids barely call anymore. My daughter lives across the country, and my son is too busy with his own life. Family doesn't mean much these days." Helen's interest visibly deflated. Raymond had just revealed bitterness, poor relationship skills, and likely a pattern of pushing people away. Now compare that to Walter's response when Grace asked him the same question at a wine tasting. Walter smiled warmly and said, "I'm blessed with great kids and grandkids. We're close, but not clingy, if you know what I mean. I love that they've built their own lives, and I enjoy being part of it when they want me around. Family is important, but I've learned there's room in life for many different kinds of love. Then he asked, "How about you? Are you one of those lucky ones with a close family, or are you building your own chosen family?" Notice how Walter showed love without neediness, boundaries without coldness, and openness to new relationships. The body language that accompanies this question is crucial. If she's asking with soft eyes and a gentle tone, she's genuinely interested in your emotional landscape. If she follows up with questions about your relationship with your children or grandchildren, she's definitely trying to understand your emotional world. Here are 4 response strategies that demonstrate emotional intelligence. The balanced approach: show you love your family, but aren't defined solely by them. The growth approach: share how family relationships have evolved and improved over time. The wisdom approach: mention what family has taught you about love and relationships. The open approach: indicate that while family is important, you're open to expanding your circle of love. Avoid oversharing family drama, appearing too dependent on family approval, or suggesting that family is the only thing that matters to you. What she wants to hear is that you're capable of healthy relationships, that you can balance different kinds of love, and that you have room in your heart for someone new. Now let's move on to another powerful question. What keeps you busy these days? This is the ultimate compatibility test disguised as casual conversation. When a woman asks this, she's not just being polite. She's conducting a lifestyle assessment to see your passions, energy level, social connections, and whether you're someone she could build an interesting life with. At our age, women know that shared interests and complementary lifestyles are crucial for relationship success. She's not looking for someone identical to her, but she needs to know you're actively engaged with life. Are you growing, learning, and pursuing meaningful activities, or just passing time? She's also assessing your availability. If you're overwhelmed with activities, she might worry there's no room for her. If you have nothing going on, she might worry you'd become clingy. Here's a real example. At a community garden, Louise asked Dennis what he was up to. Dennis replied, "Not much really. I watch a lot of TV, do some grocery shopping, maybe visit the hardware store. Pretty quiet life." Louise nodded politely and quickly moved on. Contrast that with Michael's response at a bookstore when Carol asked him the same question. Michael's eyes lit up. "Oh, I'm having the time of my life. I'm learning Spanish, volunteering at the literacy center twice a week, and I've gotten into bird photography. Last weekend, I hiked 5 miles just to get a shot of a rare warbler. I'm also helping my neighbor restore a classic car, which is way harder than I expected. What about you? Are you one of those people who's busier in retirement than you?" We're working. Michael's answer showed passion, service, curiosity, and social connection. If she follows up with questions about your activities, or suggests doing something together, she's testing for compatibility. 5 types of responses: create romantic intrigue, learning activities, show curiosity and growth. Service activities demonstrate generosity and compassion. Creative pursuits reveal an artistic or inventive side. Physical activities show you value your health and energy. Social connections show you have a life but aren't overscheduled. Avoid talking about chores, boredom, or complaining. And don't overload her with too many details. Finally, consider the most sophisticated flirting question. How do you stay so positive? This question is a compliment, a test, and an invitation rolled into one. She's noticed your energy and wants to understand your outlook on life. Positivity, especially at our age, signals resilience, wisdom, and the ability to create joy despite challenges. When Sandra asked Alan this question at a book club, Alan's response killed the moment. "Oh, I'm not that positive. Life's been tough. My arthritis is acting up, and the world's going downhill." Sandra's interest evaporated, but when Marlene asked Eugene the same question at an art gallery, Eugene smiled and said, "I've learned something over the years. I can't control what happens to me, but I can control how I respond. Every challenge has taught me something valuable, and every loss has made me appreciate what I still have even more. Joy is a choice I make every day." What about you? Do you create your own happiness, or are you just naturally sunny? Eugene showed wisdom, gratitude, and emotional intelligence. If she's leaning in, making eye contact, and using a soft tone, she's definitely flirting. Good ways to answer include sharing a life lesson that keeps you grounded, talking about gratitude for what you have, explaining how challenges made you stronger, emphasizing that positivity is a daily choice. Russell, a 72-year-old retired accountant, learned these lessons at one of my workshops. He believed women his age weren't interested in romance until he recognized these subtle questions when Joyce, a grandmother at his grandson's baseball game, asked about his retirement, family, hobbies, and complimented his outlook. Russell knew exactly how to respond. They've been dating for 5 months now, and he says, "I'm not just existing anymore, I'm living again." Understanding these questions changes everything. You stop missing signals and start building connections. Have you heard any of these questions lately? Do you think you may have missed some signals? You're not invisible. You're not too old for love. You just need to recognize what's been right in front of you all along.